Why me? It's a very valid question to have in these times. Some of us are dealing with corona by having been infected by it. Some of us are dealing with corona by deaths in our friends and families. Some of us are dealing with it with our own families and friends struggling with the infection of the virus. It's a very valid question to have. Why me at this point of time? Why should it happen to me? Let me start with a story in my own life. At the age 13, my dad went to his home in heaven. He died in Tamil Nadu while we were in a boarding school in Orissa. My family, our friends, and the mission leaders chose not to inform us, and they just buried him. And a few days later, my mom arrives in the boarding school telling us dad's gone home and he will never come back to home on earth. And the way my mind reacted to that was it completely wiped out my 13 years of memory. And I grew with that question my life into my adulthood until well into my late 30s. Why me? Why should my dad die? Why should mission leaders choose not to inform us? Why should I have my memory wiped out? Why me? Why me? Why me? Well, my friend told me, Remo, you can never ask the question why to God simply because God is omnipotent and omniscient. I beg to differ. I agree with that thing. I don't question God's authority. But if I don't ask the Lord why He allowed that in my life, how would I know? So therefore, the question why me is pretty valid. So if you're asking the same question for the issues in your life, do not feel guilty or feel upset that you're having that question in your life. There are a couple of people, several people in the Bible had the why me moments, and a couple of people in the Bible had the why me moment was Moses at the burning bush when the Lord asked him to go deliver the Israelites from Pharaoh. He said, why should I go? Send somebody else. I have a problem with my speech, and God sends Aaron to help him. Jesus had a why me moment at the Garden of Gethsemane. He was like, this cross is too much to bear for me. Can you take it off? Even so, not my will, but your will be done. Jesus had a why me moment, and that's perfectly fine for all of us to have a why me moment. Now, as in my 30s, as I was struggling with this why me question through counsel of friends, my own study of the scriptures, I came across three different passages of the Bible that helped me understand the why me. The first passage is found in James chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. It says, verse 3 and 4, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, and let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. I think one reason why the Lord allows crises and pain in our life is so that we will get patient in life. We will not get panicky, we will not get upset, we will not get frustrated, we will not get anxious, but rather we will be patient at His feet, because only in patience perfection is found. And so that only in perfection we lack nothing. And so therefore the Lord is allowing crisis in our life so that we'll get more patient and rely on Him, be still in His presence and find answers from Him. And therefore, because we are patient, the Lord will make His work perfect in our lives. And by perfection in our lives, we will be at a place where we lack nothing. The second reason why we have crisis in our life, and at least that's what the Lord taught me, is found in Romans chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. Romans chapter 5, verse 3 and 4. And not only that, we all glory in tribulation, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope. So if we really want to enjoy hope in its fullest, we can only find that when we are dealing with crises in our front. And only when we have crisis, we can push on to persevere, and only when we persevere, our characters develop. I live in Malkandri, where people consider it Naxal area, persecution high, opposition trouble, sickness. Yet we choose to stay here as a family simply because all the problems in the past have helped us to persevere today. And because we persevere here today, we live with the hope that this place would also be restored to the image of God, restored to the glory of God for His glory alone. And the third reason why we persevere, the first two reasons was for personal growth and personal edification. And the third reason is found in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3 and 4. It says, we go through tribulation because God comforts us, and because we are comforted by God, we are able to comfort others. The Lord allows certain problems in our lives. For instance, my wife and I and our children tested positive for COVID. We got away with mild symptoms. We quarantined for 15 days. We are out and serving the community again. But because we were able to experience that time of quarantine, that time of quietness, that moments of not knowing whether we will get more infected, whether we will have serious issues, would we have to go to a hospital. Not that they were anxious moments, but there were moments that we had to deal with. Today, because the Lord comforted us through those 15 days in quarantine, we are now able to comfort others who are dealing with similar situations, our friends, our family, our relatives, even people whom we don't know who call and ask us to say, you had this, how did you deal with it? So because we were comforted by God, we are now able to comfort others. So my dear brothers and sisters, these are the three reasons why I think many of us go through crises in our life. One is it helps us to be patient, and because we're patient, we become perfect. Secondly, because we have trouble in our front, we're able to persevere, and because we persevere, our character is strengthened. And because our character is strengthened, we're able to hope in the glory of eternal life. And we're able to hope for goodness on the other end of the crisis. And third reason why we are why we have tribulations, trials, and crises in our life is so that we can comfort others with the same comfort the Lord comforted us. Let me close with my favorite verse from Romans 8:28. For we know that all things work together for good to all those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. And if that is the fact of the Bible, then even our crises are good for us. Because of these crises, we get patience. Because of the crisis, we get hope. And because of our crises, we are able to comfort others. May the Lord bless us and continue to use us for His glory.